Hello, folks. How you doing? Back again. Subscribe. Subscribe. I have a lot more to talk about. A lot more. Well, I thought I would talk about something. Amun Ra. He's a pretty ancient guy. Not as ancient as some of them. Okay. Amun means hidden. Okay. And Ra means the sun. Okay. But this applies to the human being too. The sun, the sun in the sky, and then the solar energy within the human. Okay. Now, the sun, they say, is hidden at night. Okay. Not only that, the sun god in mythology, the sun god sinks into the underworld during the fall of the year, the autumn, because the days become shorter than the nights. That's what it's about. The days become shorter than the nights. So you don't get as much sunlight. So the sun is hidden, they say. Okay? The hidden sun. That's Amun Ra. Okay? In the movies they had pictures of this Amun Ra and whatnot. He might have showed up as a mummy, the guy in mummy form and all that stuff. Well, they did have gods in mummy form. And so, the Kemites, yeah, they had the mummy and so forth and so on. A mythological mummy. And they also had mummies where they buried, like the pharaohs and whatnot. They were mummified. You know what I mean? And other folks who could afford it, who could afford such a burial. Everybody couldn't afford it. The poor people, well, they wrapped them up, but they just buried them in the sand. They didn't have the elaborate coffins and all that stuff. We had that money, you know what I mean, to get that. But anyway, there were mummies in those elaborate coffins and so forth. But anyway, so that's Amun Ra. He's the hidden sun. But not only are we talking about the sun in the sky that we can't see at night, and that the nights are longer than the days in the fall of the year, so you don't get as much sunlight. You get the winter blues. You know what I mean? The winter blues is supposed to be like coming from the sun god in the underworld. That's Amun Ra. Okay? So now, it goes for the human being too. Because the human being has solar energy within himself. Sure. Our will, you know what I mean, is solar. It's like our will is called the sun god. You know what I mean? In the Christian tradition, it said that Christ said that he works better during the day. He's a sun god. That's what that means. You know what I mean? And so the human will, you know what I mean? We will something to be. It works better during the day. You know what I mean? That's a fact. It does, you see. So our intellectual capacity is greater during the day. So it also comes under the sun. And is associated with our will. We will things to be. We will things to happen. It's something like desire, but not desire. Desire is passion. The will is just harmony. It's not passion. So when we will something to be, what we have to do is evoke that attribute and harmony within ourselves, so that what we want will come about. Otherwise, we earn it, but we do it in a certain way. Okay? So Amun Ra, then, it is said of Amun Ra that he wasn't born from the womb of a woman. Amun Ra, they say, was born from cycles. Okay? we live in a world of cycles. Everything happens by cycle, even our breathing cycle. A breathe in and out, that is a cycle. There's a going and a coming. A heartbeat, it's a cycle, okay? The sun, okay, our planet travels around the sun. It's a cycle, the orbit. And so with the other planets. And the moon, well, it travels around the earth. It's a cycle. It goes round and round. Everything goes in cycles. They say that Amun-Ra was born of cycles. Okay. Everything is, you see. But Amun-Ra is in the underworld. Amun means hidden. Therefore, the underworld. So the human will is weaker at night. It is. It becomes stronger at day. Intellectual capacity is stronger during the day. See these relationships between these things? Now, in the will in the ancient, in the Kemite tradition, was a god called Heru. The Greeks called him Horus. Okay. He had many different names. He had many different attributes. The name is a word of power. You call the name correctly, and that attribute will come forth. You see? So anyway, with Amun-Ra, born out of cycles, then there's a time to evoke this power, to bring it forth. To bring forth the attributes that would come under Amun-Ra. It's telling us that there are cycles, because he's born out of a cycle. So therefore, if we want to evoke, to call out, let's say, the attributes of Amun-Ra, we must do it according to the cycle. And that comes with his formula. So each god has a formula. We need the formula. You know what I mean? To know when to elicit, okay, the powers of Amun-Ra. That's what we're coming to when we say he's born out of cycles. In other words, we evoke him. When we evoke the god, we are giving birth to it. But he's born out of cycles, and so we have to bring Amun-Ra out. Well, at the right cycle? Well, it may be. Or, what the human can do is create a cycle for the purpose of evoking this god, or this attribute. Humans can create their own cycles when we're talking about mysticism. Well, that's what they do. That's what they have done. Okay. So he's born out of cycles. So what the human can do, okay, is focus on a certain, he can create a formula too. Focus on the formula he creates. Imagine the God. The imagination plays a powerful role. Okay, imagine the God. Imagine a God coming forth in the cycle that we create for a breathing cycle. Actually, okay. Religious scriptures of all religions tell you of these things, or it tells us of those things, or it tells people of those things. Always did. The formulas are there. See, so we do the exercises. Okay, what needs to be done to evoke Amun-Ra? Well, we could do it at night. Okay. And so the hidden God will manifest during the day. Now, this manifestation comes as a result of behavior, what people do. Okay. If they did their, let's say, their prayers or whatever you call it, or their meditations at night, during the day, what they willed to happen, okay, will manifest. And what the people do, what a person does. So the person's behavior during the day is a manifestation of what he went through that night. If he willed something to be and did certain meditations, he'd bring it forth during the day in his behavior. That happens. Okay. Now, we also have dreams, you see. And these dreams, some can manifest during the day. Now, if a person has a bad dream, he shouldn't even get out of bed until he turns that dream into a good dream. Attach a good ending to it. That's what you can do with bad dreams. You don't have to get up and go out feeling bad or whatever. Attach a good ending to it. Imagine a good ending coming to the dream. Make it end good. You can do it with your imagination. Okay? Got into the dream thing here. Okay, folks. So Amun-Ra is a god that a hidden god, travels through the underworld. Okay, and he comes forth manifesting during the day, daylight hours. Okay, folks. Thank you, and have a good day. And we'll get back with some more of this. All right. Thank you, and bye.